right, I'm going to go ahead and start this. Thank you, Buffy, for coming today and sharing with the community, and many more people online will see it after the fact. So if you can think of anything to add or questions you've had elsewhere, please bring them. West End, we do have our own concerns, and we're glad you're here.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. I am Buffy Kelly. I'm running for Justice of the Peace. It is a nonpartisan position. It has been for over 90 years here in Montana. The Supreme Court justices are all also nonpartisan, and that's just so that you remain impartial and not biased, which is really, really important. I am running for Justice of the Peace in Monroe County because I believe our community deserves leadership that stands strong for what is right. We cannot change the past, but we together can build a better future. I am committed to restoring respect, fairness, and integrity in our justice systems. I will stand firm, make decisions grounded and based on the facts and the law, and I will not be pressured or influenced by any outside forces. This campaign is really just about being accountable, doing what's best for our county, and standing up for what's right. I can tell you a little bit, we were chatting, but more about myself. I was born in Plains, Montana, lived in basically outside of Missoula till I was 10. My parents got divorced, and my mom took her 4 children to upstate New York with her family to raise us and be near my grandparents. Graduated high school with an advanced Regents diploma, which is above this. It's kind of a New York State thing, but it's an advanced diploma above like a standard high school diploma. Did 2 years of college at Oneonta State Teaching College, studied history, political science, and secondary education. Transferred to the University of Montana when I was 21 and finished school with a degree in history and political science, secondary education with honors. Then I pretty quickly had a baby and went right to work for Western Montana Mental Health Center, which had an office at that time in Superior. And I was a children's case manager for clients with mental health concerns. I had several families actually up here in West End. It was always, they had a little different dynamic, it seems like. But I spent 3-4 years advocating for youth and their families. I worked a lot with probation officers, public defenders, in and out of the court system, mostly at the district level. So kids that were in some pretty big troubles. Placed kids in group homes and different, basically just coordinated different services to help them out along the way. Went into business to basically have a more flexible work balance life for raising families. My husband was gone quite often and I didn't have any help like raising the kids. So I've done it for 18 years, ready to transition back to helping and being part of the community and doing things that I really believe in. If anybody has questions, I'm not going to pretend like I'm going to know everything yet. I will definitely learn. I learn quickly. There are training, there's definitely training available through the state of Montana. Any justice that gets elected, regardless if you are an incumbent or not, is required to go to 2 conferences a year. They're both a week long at least. And you have to be certified to be the Justice of the Peace. So even if you are the incumbent, every 4 years you have to get recertified. So there's no additional cost that I could find for the county for a new person coming in. I think it looks like the budget for training, and that includes some of the clerks, is about $2,000 for the whole year. So any additional training above and beyond, I would be really excited to take just on my own to do that stuff. Any questions? I'm happy to take.
Well, with our federal government not paying attention to the Constitution, I'm curious about how you stand on the First, Second, Fourth, and Fifth Amendments.
Yeah.
Okay. Original intent?
Well, the first, I have them here just because I only have so many of them memorized. Of course, I know the first and the second.
Right.
You know,
you start with the first and the second.
Yes. So as the Justice of the Peace, my job will be to follow the law. I am a firm believer in the constitutional amendments. I'm a firm believer in looking at the Constitution. I haven't studied it in a while, but I have. Second Amendment definitely is one that my family, we're all hunters, and we, believe in right to bear arms, and, within reason, of course. I do believe there should be some control over, people with mental illness.
Well, if you go back to the original intent, it was pretty clear. I happen to come from two families that participated in the revolution, and they used their own guns, and there is no way in hell that they would give them up or not carry them to church or down to the courthouse and that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's an important right that is just huge. Again, though, as a justice of the peace, looking at the Constitution and going off of those laws and those facts and really looking at the evidence involved in all the cases is what you have to do. Yeah. Thanks, that's a great question.
Well, the other thing is the First Amendment and the attempt that some of the governments are trying to preclude saying things about the state of Israel and the fact that they've murdered 70 or 80,000 people in Gaza recently, 2/3 of which were women and children, and saying that you cannot say anything against Israel type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't make sense at all. I believe in freedom of speech and the right to say your beliefs. Stand up for what you like. Yes, Juliet?
Touching on that First Amendment there, something like disrupting a meeting could be construed and threatened as an arrest for, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Disorderly conduct.
Yes.
But yet, it could also be a redress of grievances, where two parties didn't agree, but the party that had the power said, no, that's disorderly conduct. What do you see as a major difference in your court?
Well, I think you need to keep an orderly court at all times, and
I'm more looking at if that charge was brought to you, if a disorderly conduct charge was brought to you.
Yes.
Because I said to Don Terrell, no, I will not move to the back of the room where no one can hear to record.
I think you would just have to, like any case, I would have to look at the evidence. I would have to look at what was presented. If I wasn't in that room, I mean, all you can do is look at the evidence, and you can look at the law and do your best to make your judgments based on those things.
Well, that's one step better than the sheriff who would not look at the video issue that happened to cause that threat.
I would think a video would be included as evidence, and you would have to look at those things. Again, a justice can only be as good as the evidence given to them, and I do have a pretty strong belief that a justice should hold law enforcement accountable so that you are getting proper evidence, so that you are able to make the best decisions. The only way they're going to get better, or even better, would be to hold them accountable, make sure they're giving you proper evidence, make sure that they are collecting that evidence appropriately, making sure that they're following all of their due diligence so that you, as myself, as the justice, can make the best possible decision.
I concur. Now let's take it one step further. When I confronted this issue, not for the first time, but when I brought it to Ryan's attention, he then told me for the first time, Wally told me to arrest you. Once again, no evidence was collected. I'm actually the one that called Ryan and said, ooh, she's out of control. Can you step in? And once again, there was no evidence from me. I wasn't even allowed to make a statement. I was told, you will be going to jail if you don't back down. So now it's Wally. What happens when Wally comes in and says, she's been a problem the whole time?
But if you didn't get
But-
arrested, there's no charge, so then it wouldn't be in her court.
It would be in her court if I was arrested.
If you were arrested, but it never took place.
It never took place because I left. And because of that, I will not return because I've been threatened with it again since. There's now an edict, not an ordinance, but an edict that says this camera tripod must sit in the back of the room. And anything that deviates from that is not civil disobedience, not a redress of my grievances, but instead it is disorderly conduct, which I will be arrested.
Right. Yeah, again, I would just have to look at the evidence. I would have to look at what they gave me, not being in that room, of course, as the justice. You're not there when the crimes are committed or when things go on. Not saying that that's a crime,
But
but
the problem from a citizen's standpoint
yeah.
is that she doesn't have a microphone that works on the desk where
Yeah.
the commissioners are sitting. So she needs to get close in order to give me the information, because I can't make it to that commissioner meeting today.
Yeah.
And the sheriff was just a $3 whatever. Okay, but he's been regularly,
Yes,
so.
yes. I think, I mean, I believe in full transparency. I believe that things could absolutely be recorded. I think everything should be on Zoom so that everyone can, and I know, currently now they have Zoom on at the Justice Court. And people can sit up in the district court and watch if there's not enough room in, full transparency, absolutely, with the exception of family court or children, cases of a sensitive nature, those are always closed.
Currently, the commissioners cut in between agenda items, discuss business off camera, and then turn the audio back on at the next agenda item.
Yeah, I mean, it should be recorded the entire time, absolutely.
That's what the law says, yes.
They
But
hold public office.
if
when
I
you
bring
hold
that to their
public office-
attention,
When you hold public office, everything needs to be transparent, absolutely. And you shouldn't be ashamed or have things to hide if you're working for the people, and that is your job, and nothing should be hidden.
concur.
Are you related by blood or marriage to anybody in the sheriff's office or in the DA's office?
No, I'm not related to
Okay.
anyone.
Do you regularly socialize with people in the sheriff's office?
No. No, my friend Claudia works in the DMV department, but I'm not related by blood to any, with the exception of my children, I'm not related by blood to anyone in Mineral County.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I don't-
yeah.
Was that on purpose?
Isn't it for most of us, Bruce?
Well, I came from a very small town in New York where you had to ask your mom if you were related to a certain boy in high school. So I moved, came back to Montana so that I could make sure I wasn't related to my husband. Any other questions? I have the budget, which is kind of interesting to look at. I mean, it's not real informative, but we're talking about training and different things. And right now, our current approved budget for training is only $2,000. And I think the bulk of that cost is probably actually just travel to these conferences. But I feel like I would like to get in and really see what other trainings are available for the clerks and for myself to just better. There's got to be other things out there than just the two conferences offered, online. I'm sure they're required to get 15 credit hours of continuing education. That's the minimum, but I would be definitely up to taking on more education and getting,
That makes a lot of sense.
yeah. I don't think
Okay,
$2,000
so
is enough for
who in
three.
your office, or would it be you that would have to present an increase in your budget to?
I think I would have
It would
to.
be you? Yeah.
I think I would have to ask.
I would think that would make sense.
I think they need more training.
Mhm.
There's nothing bad about getting more education to do your job better. better. Right now, currently, I think there are 3 employees under the Justice of the Peace. There's 1 full-time and 2 other 3/4 time. And once I get in there, I really can evaluate how we can make everybody more efficient and educate the public. One concern I have, or one thing that I've noticed is youth coming into court maybe for their first time. Their parents probably have never had to go to court. And I think it would be good to establish one clerk that maybe ahead of time calls parents and says, this is how it's gonna go. Do you have any questions ahead of time? You know, educate them a little bit so that when they come in, it would be more efficient and, you know, beneficial for everyone.
Want to provide a class or even a short one for the high school?
Yeah, that would be, I mean, I hate to think that there's a ton of high schoolers coming in, but I know there is for different things and whatnot. So, I mean, it would be, yeah, that would be a good idea to.
Work with the sheriff's department, make it a scared straight of some kind. You know, you come see me and
Yeah, but just so you know the process when you come in, you know, they're scared and their parents are like, what the heck? And
What's the procedure?
yeah, what's the procedure? If you plead guilty, you know, these are the things, this is what you're pleading guilty to, or maybe you want to look at, you know,
Who do you pay off so that it gets over?
We take that out.
I went to college in Chicago, so it was very diverse.
yes, my grandfather went to college in Chicago, yeah. University, actually, it really wasn't right in Chicago, but University of Illinois.
Champagne.
Yes, yeah, back in the 40s.
speak on community service, especially for like teenagers and things like that.
Yeah, I think it needs to be regulated. Again, I would maybe assign a clerk to definitely, I mean, people should be accountable, but if they can't pay their fines and they can't, you know, if it's going to prevent them from putting food on their tables, then community service should be an option. But I do feel like it needs to be regulated, and you have to make sure that people are following through with their community service. They can't just have someone sign off and say, oh yeah, they swept my sidewalk. There's a lot of good options. The food bank always needs help.
But when you present the community service to a particular entity, there should be some sort of supervision at that entity.
Yes, that signs off on it.
When I was playing volunteer fire chief here a number of years ago, I got a lot of community service from teenagers who had been like me, except they got caught.
Yeah. I think that's great. I think it holds, especially youth, accountable.
Yes.
They can touch what they, you know, and have, instead of their parents just paying the fine or doing whatever, they are able to say, okay, I can do some work for that, so maybe I'll think about it next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got a whole list on the board that if we had some community service people, that'd be great.
Yeah. I mean, that could
Once a
be,
year we do that and then.
that could be a thing, you know, where
Right.
the clerk would call and say, what do
Right.
you got going on in your community? Where can we put some of these people to work?
We could always get some work done here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
That's good.
we're a resource in the community like the fire department is, and there's always something that we can help out by
Yeah.
assigning.
And I think getting body, you know, young bodies is helpful too. I know that
Yes.
because they're a little stronger and, you know, the back doesn't hurt.
Right. They can do the stairs several more times
Yeah.
than we like to.
And it's because
Amen.
they feel like they've accomplished something and can have some pride also, which I think is huge when you're trying to rehabilitate people, or, you know, get them past some trouble.
Also, if they're given to a community, a person that's doing community service, there's a chance to look up to what they should achieve ultimately in helping their entire community.
Yeah, role models. And,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We think.
Yeah. Any other questions? Anything else?
You spoke about training. Is there something specific on your mind that you think would benefit Mineral County most or first?
I mean, there's a few things, but one, I think following a strict code, an ethical code. I've been in business forever, and you really have to have your own ethical code. And there is training on it, I've taken a lot of training on that, but just always having a standard, doing what's right, following the rules, knowing when it's a questionable situation and maybe it'd be easier to not do the right thing, but always doing the right thing because you know what's right, following the law, you know, and it's.
Long term, it's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I know that this isn't gonna be an easy job right away, it's not gonna be easy, it's not an easy job. But I am willing to do the work, I am willing to educate myself, I am willing to be there for the community, I'm very community involved, which I believe fosters trust. You know, it's hard to trust someone when you're coming into a court situation, maybe you've never even heard of the person, you know, it just, it's important to be involved in your community. I've been that way my entire life. I've done a lot of volunteer work even as a child. So
How long is the term for?
it's 4 years.
4 years, and then would you go in January if you were elected?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, January.
And how often are you guys in court? Every day?
No, I think it's I have that note somewhere, but at least twice a week for different things. And then there's also some city court duties, Alberton, they go down there for some different things, and then Superior, and those are just like tickets that happen right in town. You know, you didn't stop at the stop sign, or different things that are right in the city limits.
You're not a judge for DeBorgia, though, huh? So we just have, there's just Superior
We are.
Alberton.
Right,
Because they're not officially a city.
because we're not a town or city.
Yeah.
We're not in town, so.
We are.
We exist.
We are census gathering points. Isn't that wonderful?
That sounds nice.
That was, you know, really, it was
That's
someplace I ran across where when they were trying to say, instead of being unincorporated, it's a census gathering point.
a place to count it.
At least you remember, Jeff.
I mean, justice of peace really is just city courts, civil cases below 15,000, small claims 7,000, orders of protection, things like that, traffic stops, I-90 tickets.
Do you handle things like my wife beating me?
Maybe look at an order of protection for you. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know as a girl whether you'd be willing to do that.
It does happen. I had some families when I was doing case management where there was all types of things going on. Yeah. All right. Well, I brought some snacks. If anyone wants a cookie or some cheese and crackers, I have some flyers. I'm up here mostly in the wintertime to snowmobile and ski. I drive the rec bus for the kids to go up to the mountain. I did it once last year, and I'm more willing now to do it now that I've done it, because I wasn't sure about the parking, I was a little nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You said rec, and my brain said WREC. So sorry, recreational bus.
Yeah, so, I mean, I look forward to hopefully getting all of your vote. I really enjoyed coming out here and seeing you guys. I think I've seen you now twice. I'm gonna go to work, and I think most of the community knows that when I say I'm gonna do something, I show up and I do what's right, and I am very accountable for myself. I have 3 very high achieving daughters because I hold high standards for them, and I hold high standards for myself, and I will do what's right for our community and our county. Thank you so much for coming. Have a great day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.